Tantalising second place on the group table was poised to see them into phase two. They only needed a draw, but a win to Bayern would ensure the Germans advanced instead. In second place behind Valencia. Let's go then to the Olympic Stadium in Munich and our commentator John Helm.
Bayern will be in the red shirts this evening. There's Giovanni Elber, centre of picture, the brilliant Brazilian striker who got his first ever hat-trick in the Bundesliga at the weekend against Wolfsburg. The team will be led out by their captain Stefan Effenberg. And soon they will hit the wall of sound that is a feature of this Olympia Stadion. And here they come now, they're in vision of the crowd. Leading them out, Vitor Manuel Melo Pereira, the Portuguese referee. His assistants Carlos Manuel Matos and Antonio Carvalho. And the fourth official tonight, Paulo Baptista. Craig Moore, the Australian there, who was a scorer last week in the defeat by Valencia. Giovanni van Bronckhorst now. Rangers in their traditional blue shirts and white shorts. And, well, it's a cliche to say everything to play for, but it certainly is this evening. Neither side can afford to lose. Well, these openings have become a feature of the Champions League, which is so well organised, so well constructed in its presentation. The players stand, they just want to get on with the game. This really has become an outstanding club competition. And then the draw will be made on Friday for the next phase. It will then split into 4 groups of 4 as we whittle down to the last 16 teams. And we'll be saying goodbye to some of the clubs who started out, the Molders, one or two clubs like Boa Vista from Portugal, they won't be playing anymore. Maribor from the Czech Republic, Arsenal from England, all out. The teams that have already definitely made it through to the last 16, and there are 13 of them, are the Italian clubs, Lazio and Fiorentina. As we look again at the Bayern Munich lineup here with Kahn in goal, Mateus the sweeper, flanked by 2 markers, Marcus Babbel and Thomas Linker. Across midfield, Strunks, Effenberg, Fink and Lizarazu, and then Scholl, who really is a midfield player rather than up front there, with Elber in the centre and Santa Cruz completing the lineup, the 18-year-old. Rangers, more of a 4-4-2 system, close in goal, the German, one of 2 Germans in that lineup. Perini, Moore, Amoruso, Newman across the back, Ferguson, Van Bronckhorst, Reina and the other German Alberts, and then Mols and Rodney Wallace in the attack. It really is a very, very atmospheric stadium. These players are hoping to get a slice of the action later, including Janker and Zickler. 2 very committed and regular players for Bayern Munich over the years. Amato and Johansson could get a call for Rangers if they're looking for a goal. And I was just going to tell you those teams that are qualified. 2 from Italy, 3 from Spain already, Barcelona and Real Madrid and Valencia already through. 2 from France, Marseille and Bordeaux, and 1 each from the Ukraine, Dynamo Kiev, from Norway, Rosenborg, from Holland, Feyenoord, from England, Manchester United, from Portugal, Porto, and from the Czech Republic, Sparta Prague. 3 more names will be added tonight. Referee Melo Pereira from Portugal, we're just about set. So a very big welcome to you wherever you're watching around the world, and I know we're being joined by SBS viewers in Australia. A particularly warm welcome to you for this key game in Group F of the European Champions League here in the Olympia Stadion. This is John Helm bringing you the excitement of this night in Munich. Glasgow Rangers from Scotland, the league leaders in their own country, in the blue shirts and the white shorts, against Bayern Munich, who went top of the Bundesliga at the weekend for the first time this season. Both these sides scored 5 goals. Now here is Elba, and an immediate danger to the Rangers goal. I wasn't sure whether that was a pass back, in fact. The referee has said no, as Stefan Klos falls on the ball. Rangers survive an early scare. It's high towards Wallace, who's only a little man. In there just a little too sharply for the liking of the Portuguese referee, was Claudio Reyna. And Lizarazu, the Frenchman who was a member of the World Cup squad. There's Lothar Matthäus with a phenomenal record. Still at the age of 38, as keen to win as ever. Albert tried to turn more and was fouled. Scottish supporters among the most colourful anywhere in the world. Arthur Newman there, the Dutch international, very experienced player at 29. There's a roll back there by Mehmet Scholl to Effenberg, and then they start out from the back. Matthäus, Effenberg. Close, just managing to get there. Torsten Fink had made a break towards him. Close put it out. It must seem strange for a German international from Borussia Dortmund to come here to Munich. In fact, the ball had crossed that line before he cleared, and so Effenberg, the captain of Bayern Munich, is going to pop this one in there as they look for the early goal, and it's just onto the top of the net. And disappointment for Elba. What a warning that is to Glasgow Rangers. And that would have been a heartbreaker for the Scots, but Giovanni Elbert meeting this one on the full from Effenberg. Good header from him, clears the bar by no more than a foot. And as has become the practice for us over the last 2 or 3 seasons, we will try and keep you up to date with all the scores from other matches played in Europe this evening. Many of the groups already decided. There are 1 or 2 other important issues to be settled, particularly the matches at Galatasaray against AC Milan and Chelsea and Hertha Berlin. 2 of those 3 will go through. Galatasaray already out. The ball has become lodged there and nobody seems too keen to get it back. Big roar. It's not often a referee's assistant gets a cheer like that. Antonio Carvalho does. Wallace whipped the ball away and tries to feed it through. Good turn by Van Bronckhorst. And towards Michael Mols, the Dutchman. Good play here. Reyna for Rangers. Straight into the hands of Oliver Kahn, who's been out for several weeks. Glad to have him back. That means that young Stefan Wessels, the 20-year-old, is back on the bench tonight. Oh, that's a cynical foul. This could well be the first booking of the evening. Amoruso, well, he can protest all he likes. The referee is always going to give free kicks for that sort of a challenge. On Scholl. First caution of the evening, and that means that Amoruso will be out of the next match. It's his 3rd caution in Europe this season. Free kick, Effenberg, short, Matthäus in there. Chances here, surely. Oh, what a save from close. It seemed there that Santa Cruz must score, as he found his way in with Effenberg and Matthäus. He was onside with Santa Cruz, gets the better of the 2 defenders, and Klose saves with his legs and does his job well. But that's 2 openings that Bayern have created in the first 5 minutes of the game, and the 18-year-old could have made himself a real hero there. Rangers need to settle. It's been a disconcerting start for the Scots. No foul on Mols, he just slipped. Struntz. Now Lizarazu. Effenberg, such a skillful player. Opts for the pass back for Linke. Now Marcus Babbel. Mateus, who seems to just turn up everywhere on the field. It's amazing how he gets into so many positions. Effenberg has stayed wide. Good push down the line for Lizarazu. Elber's pulled away in the penalty area. Lizarazu goes on. He's got to tuck it in. Elber misses. What a miss. That's 3 misses now. And the Scottish defence is all over the place. And what a miss by Giovanni Elber. A hat-trick at the weekend. But Lizarazu has done all the hard work here. In he goes between the defenders. And they just opened up for him. Moore just let him go. Pulled it back perfectly. And Elber side puts the ball wide. Why didn't he take it with the left foot? Took it on the right foot and pushed it wide. It's a terrible start by Glasgow Rangers. And Elber's missed 2 chances already. Santa Cruz has missed 1. And we've had barely 6.5 minutes. Elber again here now. Well, it's incredible to say, but Rangers could have been 3 down. Bayern 3 up. They look more likely going forward, the Glasgow Rangers, which they do now with Rayner, but it's a poor ball from him. Claudio Rayner back in the starting lineup for Rangers tonight. After 6 weeks out with a hamstring problem. But Rangers have survived it, and maybe they'll think it's going to be on night to the Germans, having frittered so many good opportunities already. Now then, Mateus is on the left-hand touchline. He gets around the field so unobtrusively. That's what's astonishing about the man. Remember, he figured in the move that nearly got Santa Cruz in a minute or 2 ago. Struts is going to be hounded here. So Kahn. It is a vast bowl of a stadium. For anybody who's been here to Munich, they'll know what I mean, but we are such a long way in the commentary position here from the far side of the field. It's like a 10-minute walk away. Forward from Struts. Well covered. Linker. Touch from him, and then possession conceded badly here. But, unable to take advantage of it. Bayern Munich have never been beaten at home by a Scottish side, as we look again at the offside decision. Which was just about spot on. And Rangers have a pretty dismal record in Germany. There's another foul from behind, and that's such a problem. Mateus, though, winning it. Rodney Wallace, no booking for Wallace. He nearly clipped his wings. Effenberg, short. And they're just thinking much more quickly at the moment of Bayern Munich. Scholl now. Another probing run, but this one is nipped in the bud. They're winning possession back very easily. Starting again with Mateus. Oh, curious one that. Played it against the head of his own man, Effenberg. Oh, and a few words spoken there between captain and former captain. There's been so much talk here in Munich about some discord at times in the dressing room of the likes of Mateus and Effenberg and Basler. Such strong and willful personalities. This is Rayner. Van Bronckhorst. Newman. Ramaruzo, and then for Moore. Ferguson wanted it short. Ferguson a key player. Now George Alberts, the German from Hamburg. Newman, a very left-footed player, and a very useful player. That was a good tackle, and the ball fell handily for Fink. Effenberg's made a move up the right. Another free kick, and Rangers conceding a few. And it's that man Amoruso again. hands of Amoruso, the former Fiorentina man. Back from Effenberg. Babel to Mateus. Linker. Plenty of movement from red shirts in front of Linker, and now he's forward and he's up at the edge of the area, but good tackle this time. Well played by Moore, but his pass out of defence wasn't too hot. So they're coming again with Mehmet Scholl. Fink. One thing about the Germans, they don't mind playing cat and mouse games and being patient. But they can't afford to play the ball directly out like that, Babel. That will help Rangers settle. Having withstood those early scares, they haven't had any for the last 6 minutes or so. And now Moles has held it up skillfully and does well inside the area. It's still Moles, and he tries to chip the keeper. Puts it over, but decent piece of play that from Michael Moles. 4 European goals already this season. Couple he got against PSV, couple against Hacker of Finland. And this was skillful play. And the keeper was on his line, Kahn, and he put it over. Rather withering look from Kahn there. So we're back in the action. Bayern Munich 0, Glasgow Rangers 0. Nicely taken on the chest, and the referee has played an advantage here, and Elba doesn't take advantage of it. Moles now fouls to Linker's challenge, which was not too clever. Thomas Linker brought into the side. He was left out last weekend. Here he is again under the challenge of Wallace, and does pretty well this time to get it away to Lizarazu. 2 Scots go for the same ball. I said Scots, 2 Rangers players are anything but Scots. Remember, only Ferguson, Barry Ferguson that is, in the starting lineup, is born in Scotland. Linker. The Rangers have settled it a little now. But Porini unable to take it away, so Effenberg will push it wide for Lizarazu, who created mayhem early in the match. Directed back here, Elbert tries to get in, covered by Amoruso. By Hitzfelder, playing his own part, pushing the ball back in. The 50-year-old coach who took Borussia Dortmund to the final of the European Champions Cup in 1997 in that famous victory over Juventus. And was, of course, in charge of Bayern Munich when they were beaten by Manchester United in Barcelona in May. And interestingly, he's formed quite a friendship with the Manchester United manager, Sir Alex Ferguson, who's here in the crowd this evening. Not quite sure whether he's on official business watching or not. Here's a decent ball in towards Wallace and sliced back to his own goalkeeper. Not seen as a back pass. There's a sliced back there into the hands of the goalkeeper by Babel. This is Torsten Fink. Mateus will hit the long ball, seeking out Elbert, covered by Moore on this occasion. That's a good piece of play from Claudio Reyna, and he's dragged the ball away from Lizarazu and swept it over to that far side to York Albert, who can thunder them in, and he does as well. The hammer, they call him up in Scotland. He has such a devastating left foot, York Albert's. Well, that was a worthy effort. That's 2 attempts on goal now from Glasgow Rangers. One from Moles, one from Alberts. So they have settled after that pretty nervous start. Alberts once more, in for Moles. Much, much better from Glasgow Rangers. Porini. Then Ferguson, who may hit a shot. Well, he will, but it's not going to trouble anybody, apart from the photographers back there. Barry Ferguson, still only 21 years of age, but he's only ever scored one goal. And that was against Dunfermline Athletic. I think this is a rather more demanding occasion this evening. Gives me a chance to tell you that the only goal scored so far tonight, Sparta Prague are 2-up on Spartak Moscow, surprising non-qualifiers, and Chelsea 1-up on Hertha Berlin. And a chance here for Glasgow Rangers. The ball has to be cut back in, and it's pushed to safety. Van Bronckhorst posing a problem there. Alberts is a big, powerful man. He took a knock in training, actually, last night from his own man, Ferguson, on the ankle. And it was thought he might not even feature among the subs tonight, but he has done, and here he is now. Wanted on his stronger left foot, though, and he wasn't able to achieve that. It's a reasonably open contest. Effenberg. And Mateus. Immaculate Mateus. Lizarazu. French international. This German side just drawn from 6 countries, whereas the Glasgow Rangers one is drawn from 12 nationalities in the squad out there tonight. Even on the substitutes bench they have a Ukrainian, Andrei Kanchelskis, a Pole, Darius Adamchuk, another Australian in Tony Vidmar, well known to all your viewers at SBS, of course, Jonathan Johansson, the Finn, Gabriel Amata from Argentina, and the French goalkeeper Lionel Charbonnier. So it's a real League of Nations Glasgow Rangers. Here's that Frenchman again, Lizarazu, then Elba. Free kick on Elba. Foul on Elba by Perini. The Glasgow Rangers would be well advised not to concede free kicks around the edge of the area. This one's a bit too far out for anything too ambitious. But let's see if Bayern Munich can summon up something for the goal that would give them the breakthrough. We're just coming up to 18 minutes played. As Effenberg sizes up his options and finally clips it in there. And the back header will not trouble Stefan Klos. Came from Santa Cruz, Paraguayan. Franz Beckenbauer needs no introduction at all, the president of Bayern Munich, one of the great names in world football. So just to remind you of those scores against Sparta Prague, 2 goals up on Spartak Moscow, and Chelsea leading Hertha Berlin by 1-0. Didier Deschamps scoring there with his first ever goal for the club. Elsewhere, all the matches are at 0-0. That's Molde against Real Madrid, Olympiacos against Porto, Valencia against PSV Eindhoven, Willem II against Bordeaux, and Galatasaray and AC Milan. Here too, 0-0 at the moment between Bayern Munich and Glasgow Rangers. Who attack now with Perini, who's played in a European Cup final. Moles has pulled away. He leads the line very well, and he turns well too, and he's still in possession of the ball, and he's now found a way between the two. Great play from Moles, and a chance frittered by Van Bronckhorst. Expert play from Michael Moles, and Van Bronckhorst puts it over. Very, very good play by Moles as he drives away there between the two players trying to wedge him in, and Van Bronckhorst skies it over the top. Well, it might well have been 3-1 already. Well, it was very good play indeed from Michael Moles as we pass the 20-minute mark here. We should have had goals, but we haven't. That really would have given Rangers a massive lift. taken on this time by Lizarazu. Did that well. Now it's Linker. 3 in red on the edge of the area. It's straight onto the head, however, of Elber, who got in there, but unable to direct it. Giovanni Elber, whose only European Champions League goal this season has come in the game against Valencia. Milan have now taken the lead against Galatasaray. Still unable to break Rangers down. They might live to regret those early misses. They were certainly very good chances that they had. Perhaps not too much the header from Elber, which was just a snap header really from a corner kick, but the 2 opportunities afforded to Santa Cruz. And here they do come now. This looks better for them. The final ball not good enough. The back pass is. Santa Cruz and Elber have missed 2 very takeable opportunities. So we look at Effenberg with a through ball here for Mehmet Scholl. Covered, and the ball was out from the Australian Craig Moore. So Lizarazu, his fine attacking fullback. Or wing-back, if you prefer to call him that. He'll come down here for Fink. Mateus, clever clip in, Elber underneath it, just fails to get a touch, and it'll run through for Newman to clear. A bit of jostling going on between Moles and Linker came out on top in that particular confrontation. Popped in by Lizarazu, and then put out by Ferguson. And there is Sir Alex Ferguson, not looking too happy, is he? Alex Ferguson in the dark coat. He won this competition back in May on a memorable night for Manchester United. Here is Scholl. And then Struns. Through to Stefan Klos again. And a good throw from Klos too to get Alberts moving forward. Alberts, who has not been a regular starter by any means in the Rangers side this season, but brought into the team this evening by Dick Advocaat. Newman has made plenty of good ground here. It was covered, and now he might have to get back sharply as Bayern break with 5-on-5. Elber, having pulled away though, has to try and get around Amoruso. Rangers defending much better than they did in the early phases of this match. And Wallace has been clattered here, and this may just be a yellow card for Babel. It is. And so Marcus Babel gets his second yellow card of this European Champions League. Free kick Rangers. Short Alberts. Popped through nicely here for Van Bronckhorst, and they cut across, and dangerous, and off the upright by Moles. The follow-in for Rangers, dragged wide, corner kick. What an escape. Michael Moles with the header against the upright. He looks pretty calm about it, but inside it must be eating him up. That could have been such a key moment in the game. So still we are locked at 0-0, but goodness knows how. No shortage of chances, and the Dutch international there will feel aggrieved. Oh, look at that for a traffic jam. Goodness gracious me. Is there any way to move in there? It's a foul. Well, that is predictable. There'd be a free kick for a foul there. That had to happen. But here it is again. Van Bronckhorst cutting the ball back, and Moles coming in here, and the goalkeeper would have had no hope at all. What a let-off. And then the ball deflected out for that corner kick. Still then, Michael Moles can't make the breakthrough at the one end, nor can Bayern Munich at the other, so it's 0-0. Chelsea, as I told you, leading Hertha Berlin by a goal to nil. That could be a big break for them. Victory would see them through. And AC Milan looking for a victory against Galatasaray, and they're leading 1-0 too. So at this moment it's Chelsea and AC Milan to go through, and Hertha Berlin to miss out along with Galatasaray. Fink drives it forward, but straight at Amoruso. On Bronkhorst, clips it over the top. Wallace is onside here. The ball has to hold up, and Kahn does his job very well indeed. Still doing it too. And he earns the ovation he gets there. Oliver Kahn had to be so quick because the ball was just dinked over the top. And as we look at Moles in trouble. Hurt by Kahn in the challenge. And they'll take him off, and Rangers will continue with 10 men, I fancy. No question about offside. Terrible defending by Bayern Munich, but even the lightning Wallace couldn't get there before the German goalkeeper. Kahn did so very, very well, but he's hurt Moles in the process. He had a right to go for the ball as he did, the goalkeeper. Doesn't look particularly well, does he? Abubakar, just out of your picture, is on the touchline, wafting his arms around. Still 0-0. We're past the halfway mark of this first half here, and absorbing half two. There is Abubakar. Told you he's off the bench and on the touchline. Now Linker. He's got forward on a couple of occasions. Scholl. Oh, clever play. Fools Parini. Guts the ball in. Headed straight up in the air though. Not a problem in the end for Stefan Klose. And Moles still off the pitch, as you see. So Rangers playing on with 10 men at the moment. Well, they do of course have an excellent replacement on the bench in Jonathan Johansson, the Finnish international, actually born in Sweden though. He plays for Finland and had a spell in Estonian football of all places. And they have the Argentinian Gabriel Amato, who was signed from Real Mallorca. And he's got a goal or two. Good play here. Chances this time for Bayern. Oh, the clever back heel by Scholl. Intended to get Elber in, just failed to do so. Down to the other end we go, and excellent covering there by Mateus. The game opening up again. Comes in sporadic bursts. Good attacking play all round, and Moles is going to the dressing room, and that is a massive blow for Glasgow Rangers. The player who almost gave his side the lead with that header against the post a few minutes ago. Bayern Munich, a chance for Elber here. Brings it down, but did he use his hand in doing so? Yes, he did. Another goal to tell you about, and it's Galatasaray who have now equalised against AC Milan. Galatasaray 1, AC Milan 1. And I think that there's been a goal by... no, there hasn't. We're getting some information. There's a yellow card in the game between Olympiacos and Porto. Still 0-0 in that one. 0-0 Molde Real Madrid, 0-0 Valencia Eindhoven, and 0-0 Willem II Bordeaux. Sparta Prague leading Spartak Moscow 2-0. Lokvens and Rosicki, the goal scorers there. As we see Johansson introduced. Chelsea 1, Hertha Berlin 0, and Galatasaray 1, AC Milan 1. So, although Moles is off, it's a very, very good replacement who comes on in Johansson, who has already scored 6 goals this season, 2 of them in Europe. Good attacking play here from Bayern to get a throw in. And that equaliser from Galatasaray has come from Capone, George Weah having scored for Milan. In it goes, and right over the top of one defender until the whistle sounds and comes to Rangers' aid. No complaints so far about this referee tonight, right on the job. Might be danger this time. It's through for Elber. He's got a right to go for it, and Close, very alert, just as Close was at the other end. Occasionally they look as though they've found a way through to Bayern Munich. One goal would be sufficient for them if they won, of course. That's danger now. It's Effenberg. He's got people queuing up alongside him. Down he goes. Penalty kick. No question about it. The referee right on the spot. It simply had to be. And Van Bronckhorst is the man who was giving it away. Terrible penalty to concede. Good ball in from Effenberg, however. Mehmet Scholl, Van Bronckhorst climbing all over his back, and that is a penalty kick and an opening here for Bayern Munich. Just the one that they needed. Yellow card for Van Bronckhorst. The referee not sending him off, which I think is right. And here is the opportunity now for Bayern Munich to strike the goal that could be good enough to take them into the next phase. And it's the responsibility of Thomas Strunz. He's taken over from Effenberg as the penalty taker. The Bayern bench are all standing to see the outcome of this one. And Thomas Strunz scores. Close holds his head in his hands. He got a big hand on the ball, but not sufficient to keep it out. The power carried it into the corner of the Glasgow Rangers net. And Bayern Munich have that elusive goal for Ottmar Hitzfeld. But a terrible penalty for Rangers to concede at this time. Strunz, it wasn't the best penalty you've ever seen. The goalkeeper, look at that, he gets a whole hand to the ball, but can only turn it into the net. And Franz Beckenbauer leads the ovation. Strunz's first goal of the season as well, and what a time to score it. Here come Rangers with a reply, however, with Johansson cutting it back and then fouling Effenberg. Well, the goal came on 32 minutes. 33 minutes according to our caption. Will it be enough? We have to wait another 57 minutes to find out. Here it is again. Look at the amount of hand that Close gets on that, and it actually goes underneath him as he dives right, gets right, not perfectly struck by any means, but it had sufficient power to find the net. Exasperation for Stefan Close. Delight for the boss. And now Elber. It was a good build-up, you have to say, before the goal, but Van Bronckhorst, even he didn't complain about the award of the penalty as he climbed onto the back of Mehmet Scholl. And the Dutch coach of Glasgow Rangers, formerly with PSV Eindhoven, and of course the manager of Holland for a while, knows his side now has to score. And that Scottish luminary, the former international in St John, was saying before the game that he did believe that Rangers would have to get a goal tonight. He couldn't see Bayern going through 90 minutes without scoring. How right he was. Newman for Rangers. When Alberts combines with Newman. Surely too much on that. Well, that's changed the complexion now of the group. Bayern Munich beaten a week ago by PSV Eindhoven, of course, which put Rangers in the driving seat. It's now Sparta Prague 2, Spartak Moscow 1. Spartak Moscow pulling a goal back in that one. Chelsea 1, Hertha Berlin 0, Galatasaray 1, AC Milan 1, 0-0 in all the other games apart from this one. where Bayern have just got their goal. And they're being pushed back now. And Glasgow Rangers all the way to Craig Moore. He launches it far side. Alberts with a chance to advance. Plenty of blue shirts up here, and he whips it right across the face of Kahn's goal, but it was harmless. Kahn, a very composed goalkeeper, doesn't show much emotion. Won the Champions League with Borussia Dortmund, and then in the final was beaten by Manchester United, of course, in May. With this Bayern Munich side, it was a crushing blow for them. Bulatov, by the way, is the man who has scored the goal for Spartak Moscow, who now trail by 2-1 to Sparta Prague. Here we have just 8.5 minutes to go in this first half in the Olympia Stadion. As Lizarazu cuts inside easily, and the referee did very well there, because he saw that Lizarazu just ran directly into Van Bronckhorst. And Johannesson getting away, and should get a corner. No, it's in fact dropped for Fink. No foul. Van Bronckhorst can slide his man in here, and that man is Alberts, who is powerful. Forced to take it away from goal, however, by Mateus. Skillful defending from Lothar Mateus. Good play from Rangers. Chance here, the cut back here. Oh, what a save! Or did it go off? I think Kahn made a fantastic stop there. And just look at him. Look at the concentration on his face. Rod Wallace cannot believe that. Did he touch it onto the underside of the bar? Did he just keep it out? The replay in a moment will tell us, but we won't see that replay, I don't think, until after this corner kick. Well, that is one wonderful stop, when Wallace seemed a certain scorer, but Rangers are looking capable of getting a goal in this match. And Kahn very much the hero of the moment. If Strunks was the hero 5 minutes ago, no question that Kahn is the man of this moment. Ferguson. Well, I'm sure we will get a replay of that as soon as the ball goes dead. Play continues with the man who was foiled here, Rod Wallace, formerly of Leeds United and Southampton, English Premier League. Now it's Claudio Reyna, slides it out well. Purini, former Juventus man, great ball in, and the header wide this time is from Van Bronckhorst. And Rangers, alarmingly from a Bayern Munich point of view, are creating chances. They know they need a goal, and their attitude has changed. Now here it is. Let's look at this one. Alberts pings it across the penalty area. That's a good ball here. The run had been continued by Newman. It's Wallace, and it's touched by the goalkeeper against the post, and out it goes. And no wonder he was delighted. Yes. How close could it have been? His luck on their side. The gods are smiling on Bayern Munich. But I think what was said there in the presidential box. But Rangers now created 2 openings in the space of a couple of minutes, and they've created 4 or 5 already in this match. But they trail by a 1-0. Reyna. Wallace, the man who was thwarted. Reyna comes the other way. They have to reverse it for Craig Moore. Ferguson attempts to find Johansson up here, a tall, rangy figure. The Finn manages to elude one, and the cross in went. The clearance went straight to Reyna. And that will be a goal kick now. As we come up to the 40-minute mark here, and plenty of talking points in this half. A penalty goal for Bayern Munich, and a host of chances missed at both ends. Here it is again. How did Kahn get a hand to that and keep it out? Wallace defied, cannot believe it. Well, that's what they work on in training. Spent hours diving, shot stopping, and it certainly paid off there for Oliver Kahn. As a free kick is awarded to the home side. course, they have extra incentive to Bayern Munich, because if they were to be beaten and Hertha Berlin were to lose to Chelsea, there would be no German representative in the last 16, and that would be unthinkable for a country of such footballing greatness and pedigree. Last evening, Borussia Dortmund and Bayer Leverkusen were both knocked out, with Feyenoord and Dynamo Kiev clinching their places. But at the moment, Bayern Munich would go through, and Rangers wouldn't. Here is Mehmet Scholl, who won the penalty for them. He's got good close control. He'll try and launch it right to Struntz. It's into the area. That time, Santa Cruz couldn't control it well enough. Scored his first European goal a week ago against PSV Eindhoven. Roque Santa Cruz. It's a lively match, and it's in here for Rod Wallace. Took it on the chest. The attentions of Babel were just too much for Wallace, but nonetheless, Rangers have the throw-in. Three and a half minutes left in the first half here in the Olympiastadion Munich, with Bayern a goal to the good. A shout for a handball there. Like to see that one again, but it's Alberts now for Glasgow Rangers. Amoruso. Oh, well picked out by Fink. Still one whack back by the Scottish champions. And then when it's lost, there might be a chance here. The ball with Effenberg. Cross coming in towards Elber, cut out by Reina, doing a great job back there as a midfield player. Effenberg's cross, not of the highest order. Not quite the quality that was required to get Elber in. Oh, there's plenty of cut and thrust about this one, but another poor ball there. It enables Bayern to come in, and Elber goes crashing down onto his back after Moore came across him. Moore, I think, has done some play acting here. He went down, and I don't think Elber, well, he may have just caught him on the back of the head. It's a yellow card for Elber. The Rangers players surrounding the Portuguese referee. I thought that Moore made more of that than was necessary at first sight. But it's a yellow card for Giovanni Elber, his first actually of this Champions League season. Effenberg having words with him. Now let's just see if he did clip the back of his head. Moore's gone sliding into him. Then Elber goes down, his foot raked across his body. Moore came up for... That was accidental up until that point. Now then, what does Elber do? Oh, we'll see it again from this angle. No fault attached there to Elber. And as he comes up, what goes on? Just a little cuff. Nothing much. It gets Dick Advocaat incensed enough to act as referee, judge and juror. It was yellow for Elber. Well, there's going to be plenty of hostility, I fancy, in the second half here. There's a bit more here now. Effenberg and Ferguson and Van Bronckhorst. The referee might be happy to get these two teams away to the dressing room in a minute or so. What Rangers cannot afford is to concede a goal here, and they are down to 10 men for the moment as Moore has treatment to the back of the head. Johansson. Rangers with two in the penalty area. Johansson looking to get a cross in, wins a corner kick. As Moore comes back on. So they're back to the full complement of 11. They have, of course, already had to make one substitution, losing Michael Mols. Essential now, just as I was talking about Rangers not conceding, that Bayern don't let one in the closing seconds of the half. A Van Bronckhorst corner flicks away. The referee says play on, but now he does say blow. I think he thought the overhead kick was slightly dangerous, and it really is bubbling over. Well, you can imagine somebody going off in this match. Claudio Reina there, incensed. Well, I'm sure you're at the edges of your seats around the world The red-hot atmosphere that pervades in this Olympia Stadion at the moment. It was a dangerous piece of play by Amoruso. He could have caught Elber on the head. Rangers, it has to be said, must not lose their cool, because they're a goal behind. If it stays this way, of course, Bayern will move on to 9 points, level at the moment with Valencia. Rangers would be eliminated, but would go into the UEFA Cup. They can do no worse than that. Now Johansson follows through and is cautioned. His challenge on Lizarazu. And the referee really has a problem at the moment, and he's... some of the Bayern players there clearly unhappy about this. Lizarazu dived a bit theatrically. There was no yellow card on that occasion. And I think he knows that they've got to simmer down. Nothing can be done about it, and the referee, thankfully, I think, points to the tunnel, sends the players away to the dressing room. It's half-time here in Munich. A half which has gone the Germans' way thanks to a penalty goal dispatched by Thomas Struntz. Stefan Klose almost keeping it out after a foul by Giovanni van Bronckhorst on Mehmet Scholl. But at half-time here in Munich, the half-time score is Bayern Munich 1, Rangers 0. Welcome back to the Olympia Stadion in Munich. The scoreboard tells it all. Half-time here, FC Bayern Munich 1, Glasgow Rangers 0. But it only tells a minimal part of the story of the first 45 minutes. The one goal scored by Thomas Struntz from the penalty spot. But just thinking about it, the score might well have been 3-3. Giovanni Elber's missed 2 good chances. Roque Santa Cruz has missed one as well for Bayern. At the other end, Rodney Wallace was denied by a wonderful save by Oliver Kahn. Michael Mols, before he was carried off, struck a post. And there have been other openings as well. So anyway, a crucial 45 minutes to come here. Remember the scenario. Rangers only need a draw here to go through. Bayern Munich must win. They're on course at the moment to go second in the group behind Valencia. The two teams, Glasgow Rangers and Bayern Munich, did draw 1-1 at Glasgow earlier in the season. It's the 5th time, by the way, that they've been drawn together in European competition. Bayern generally coming out on top. The only time that Rangers beat Bayern was in 1972. Bayern themselves have successes in 1967, 1971 and 1990 to look back on. But the last time Rangers were here, they got a 0-0 draw. They're not going to get that tonight, and they're defending now against the captain of Bayern Munich, Stefan Effenberg. Put it away, back by Scholl. Elber, touch to Effenberg, and through for Klose to fall on it. Effenberg again, a brisk start to the half from Bayern. It's noticeable, by the way, that Mehmet Scholl is now playing with a very heavy bandage around his left leg. Here he is on the ball now, you can see that white bandage. I'm sure this ball will go out, and Amoruso has to take some action. By the way, I may have misled you in the first half. I thought there had been a caution, a yellow card early in the game for Lorenzo Amoruso. Apparently the referee took a lenient view of that, so just to confirm, the 3 bookings in the match so far, Babel and Elber of Bayern Munich and Van Bronckhorst of Rangers, who attack now with Wallace. Not able to get there, not looking at his nippiest tonight, Rod Wallace. He's got the reputation of having plenty of pace, but he was unable to show any there. Still, it's Newman. Rangers creating plenty of chances. Amoruso. Reina. Albert, who had one shot himself in that first half, might try and line himself up for another one here. Whips it in hard. Kahn makes the stop. It was from an angle which made it easier for the goalkeeper, but it was on the target. As Effenberg for Bayern Munich looks to see which way he might instigate a move this time, and slowed it down. The crowd a little impatient there. They wanted a bit more action forward. It's Fink to Effenberg next. And there is rain in the air. In fact, a colleague alongside me actually said it was snow at half-time. I don't think it's snow, surely, but it's certainly raining here. And it's colder than it was last night. When I came to watch the Rangers training session last night, it was really mild. The ball is out to Van Bronckhorst, tries his shot off the upright. Nothing's happening for Rangers tonight. They're so unlucky in attack. Van Bronckhorst wraps the left-hand upright of Oliver Kahn, just as Mols wrapped it in the first half. And Rangers might well have had a couple of goals, if not more, tonight. And Kahn was beaten with that one. That would have been a screamer of an equaliser for the Dutchman. The one who gave away the penalty too, so he would really have felt he'd have atoned there. It's still 1-0 Bayern Munich. Free kick. Against Moore, so Bayern will be looking for a second goal that really would set them up. Hustled out of it once more. Van Bronckhorst in the thick of things. Alberts. Good ball into Wallace. Not a good ball from him, but it's come back Albert's way a second time. Newman just unable to latch on to the return from Van Bronckhorst. And now it's Strutz who concedes possession. Rangers do put three passes together. Van Bronckhorst lifts it in. There's an offside flag on the far side. I think the referee spotted that too soon, but it was correct. This is the Van Bronckhorst shot, which would have levelled matters up again. Struck it venomously, and it raps against the lower part of that upright. So Matthäus strides forward elegantly. Effenberg able to leave it now for Marcus Babbel. To Cruz. Babbel on. Elba might keep this in. He did so, but, and then put it out. Just to state again, the position at the head of this Group F is Valencia with 9 points. And currently they are tied at 0-0 with PSV Eindhoven. Rangers have 7, Bayern Munich have 6, and PSV Eindhoven have 4. And the draw on Friday will include 16 clubs in 4 groups of 4. As the excellent Champions League season continues. Close, short for Amoruso. The Australian Craig Moore. So the only Scot in the side, Ferguson. Van Bronckhorst. Up and Newman. Good ball in from Newman. Wallace coming for it, and Wallace is there, and he tipped it past Kahn, who now has to put the ball back out for the corner. As Linker played it against him, against his own goalkeeper. That could have been an acute embarrassment. It's a lovely ball played in here for Rod Wallace, who touches it past the goalkeeper. It never had the steam to go anywhere near the net, and it was actually going to go dead anyway. But then a corner embarrassingly conceded has given Rangers a chance, and Albert plays in a shocker of a corner. No height on the ball at all. And Ferguson has had to retrieve it. Oh, that's another awful pass from Amoruso. So impetus already lost here by Glasgow Rangers. But so many chances have been created on this evening that it really should be more than 1-0. And Bronckhorst trying to get the better of the goal scorer, Thomas Strunz. Oh, and then a poor touch by Lizarazu. Means Johansson is now in possession. Wallace. Trying to switch the play through Claudio Reyna and Ferguson. Now he's out on that far side. The cutback is in here. Johansson just couldn't turn on it, neither could Wallace. And a roar going up from those 7,000 Scottish fans who've made the journey south. We didn't know we'd move south with the weather as it is at the moment, though. And this touch from Wallace carries the ball way ahead of Rayner. Chance to check on those scores again, and AC Milan have now gone 2-1 ahead of Galatasaray. And Sparta Prague are now 3-2 up on Spartak Moscow. As Bayern Munich attack, Scholl. Second Milan goal, by the way, scored by Junti. This is Newman. Albert seeing a lot of the ball in the early minutes of this half, and then Van Bronckhorst meet this. Albert, he'll always go for goal. He's skied it though. George Alberts, who's got so many goals for Glasgow Rangers, more than 30 in fact, 8 in Europe as well. And I was telling you, Sparta Prague have regained the lead against Spartak Moscow, who got back to 2-2. Fukal is the man with the third goal for the Czechs. There'll be a free kick here for the foul on Elba, who might well have had a couple of goals in that first half. A left from Craig Moore. And I'm sure in Australia, in Melbourne and Sydney and Adelaide, you're watching with interest this one on the performances of these Australians. And here come Munich themselves. There might be an opening here. Oh, it was the first touch there from Linker which betrayed him, but he's still got a chance to play one in here. They're 3 or 4 in the area, and they run over the ball and allow Rangers to mop up. And then Ferguson is caught. Not a free kick for Rangers. Well, that was a clear opening for Bayern Munich to put a second goal against their name. They didn't take it. But Rangers are making defensive mistakes here now. Touch back for Strunz to launch one in. Elba comes for it. Elba gets there as well. With the punch not exactly out of the textbook from Stefan Klos, and Rangers lucky that they didn't concede a second. Now they do attack. The American Claudio Reyna still here, still Reyna threads one in. Johansson, oh, over the top, and what a chance, spurned by the Finnish international. And Jonathan Johansson, a hat-trick man at the weekend in the victory over Aberdeen, has scuffed this one over the top, having turned Marcus Babbel. He had the whole goal to go at, and he drives it wide of the left and upright. Babbel was well beaten there. And I think the feeling pervades that this is by no means one of the greatest Bayern Munich sides you'll ever see, as we look at Effenberg receiving treatment on the halfway line. And Rangers have certainly had their chances to ease their worries, but they've not taken them. And really, Jonathan Johansson, looking back at that, he'll be mortified when he sees the replay of that. He had so much of the net to aim at and put it the wrong side. Amoruso now plays him in to an offside position. Still 1-0. But how is it only 1-0? Effenberg's back on and in possession. Doesn't get the throw-in he's asking for, though. And the car must wonder if there is a goal to be had on this night. Well, he knows the chances are there, but so far they've all been spurned. And when you get chances against a team like Bayern, you have to take them. It's now with Arthur Newman. Got a good left foot, and he plays Wallace into the area once more, and that's going to be a corner. Wallace has taken up a couple of intelligent positions inside that area and has been found on both occasions and has won the corner kicks. Kahn assembles the troops around him as Van Bronckhorst comes over to knock this one across. The last corner they had from Alberts was a shocker. This is better, and it's away from the goalkeeper. It's bobbling around all over. Amoruso swung a leg at that one and didn't make any contact. Still, the travelling army from Scotland frustrated. At this moment, their side is going out and would have to play in the UEFA Cup. A second lifeline for them, but they'd much rather be in the Champions League, I can assure you. Another 6 matches guaranteed. Virtually, it's a passport to Europe for the season. Effenberg. And then Fink. But it's Rangers rather than Bayern who have created chances at the start of this half. Well, it must be a free kick. There's a wrestling match going on there. Matthias, I think he's sending a message across to the bench. A very determined German. Linker. Out to the far side into Lizarazu. Rolled forward into the path of Elbert, who will try and attack more from this position and will cross one in. Amoruso there ahead of Scholl. Rangers able to bring the ball away. But not for very long, as Wallace failed really to capitalise on the possession. Oh, excellent challenge, however, there. And that's released 3 Rangers men, and it's George Alberts, the man who scored against them earlier in the season. Whipped it in hard and low, and an outstanding stop again by Oliver Kahn. Only he really has stood between Rangers and 2 or 3 goals tonight. Alberts scored in the 1-1 draw between these sides at Glasgow earlier in the season. And he's hit the target on 3 occasions tonight, and every time Kahn has been equal to him. Well, you would feel there are bound to be more goals this evening, but then you look at the chances that have been frittered already and wonder if it's one of those nights when we won't get goals. Effenberg, excellent tackle on him this time by Moore. Alberts forward again. Playing a very prominent role, the man from Hamburg. Ferguson. Give movement around here. Into the area, Johansson. It's a cross there, put out by Babel. Corner. Good moments these for Glasgow Rangers, but they need a goal, remember. If they score, they are back in the driving seat. And the anxiousness shows on the face of Franz Beckenbauer. It would be unthinkable for no German sides to progress into the last 16 in Europe. And remember, Hertha Berlin are 2 down tonight. Leverkusen and Dortmund out. A Rangers corner, looking for that one goal that will make all the difference. And the whistle sounds. That's the Rangers' horror. Olympiacos have now scored against Porto. 1-0 in Greece there, against the Portuguese champions, Porto. The other scores as I gave them to you, with Real Madrid leading at Molde thanks to Karambou's goal, and it's Giannakopoulos who has scored for Olympiacos. And I will keep bringing you these scores as long as we get them throughout the course of the evening, but the most important one here is 1-0 Bayern Munich, a penalty by Thomas Strunz. Incredible, I know I keep repeating it, incredible that it is only 1-0, bearing in mind the number of chances that there have been. There's a yellow card just been shown to Amoruso. Well, I told you he'd got one in the first half, he didn't, but he has now. So let's put the record straight, and he's definitely now out of the next match if Rangers go through. And I assume that that would be the case also were it to be a UEFA Cup match as opposed to a Champions League game. He's protesting there that he never actually caught Roque Santa Cruz. The Italian is cautioned. The second Rangers player to be shown yellow this evening. The first was Van Bronckhorst, who gave away the penalty and got the yellow card in the process. There's been a few players patched up tonight, and this is the latest. He's certainly dived in on him. Just caught the ankle. And, the 18-year-old certainly felt it. The boy from Paraguay, I call him a boy, 18 years of age. He's scored in the last 3 matches. And if he could get one tonight, that would light up the entire city of Munich, I'm sure. Carsten Janker on the bench, a very useful substitute to be able to bring on. Top scorer for the last 2 seasons here. As Mateus pushes it out for Strunz. "62 minutes played, 28 minutes left for Rangers to get the 1 goal that might see their survival in Europe." Elba, poor touch from him. The ball gifted back to the team in blue and white. The Scottish champions, Glasgow Rangers. I don't think Wallace will be able to get that quick as he is. And there is a lot of movement down on the bench of Bayern Munich, and I think the player who is preparing to come on is the Brazilian Paulo Sergio, and it could well be that they will not risk Santa Cruz for much longer. And Hasan Salihamidzic there as well, responding to a call from his coach. So we could have a double substitution. In fact, that is exactly what is going to happen. Bayern Munich to make 2 switches. And they can make them now, because the ball has gone out. The referee is saying throw the ball in, get on with the game. He hasn't yet been shown the numbers of the players coming on or off. So quite rightly, as the official in charge, he says play on. Play on they do. But still no sight of Janker. Now, he's trying to get goal side here as Elba. Oh, he's overrun it, has he? Just cut it back and got the corner. But his touch was again poor, the Brazilian, after he got past the defender. His touch was poor, his first one. And he only just managed to get another touch on the ball to get a corner. That's Ewan. Well, at least he's got a smile on his face, and so has the official. He's supposed to put the flag up, he says. It's a corner against Glasgow Rangers, and Mehmet Scholl is off for 1. There is Hasan Salihamidzic, who scored 2 precious goals on the way to the final last year, one against Barcelona in the Nou Camp and one against Manchester United. Santa Cruz comes off then to be replaced by Paulo Sergio. The corner taken. Effenberg will lob it back post towards Salihamidzic. Bayern still in the possession with Fink. Certainly would settle the crowd down here if Bayern could get a second goal. The Rangers would have an awful lot to do then. 25 minutes to play. They trail 1-0, and that is nothing, because if they get a goal and hang on to that, they would go through at 1-1. That would be good enough for Glasgow Rangers to really disappoint the Germans and threaten the possibility of no German representation at all in the last 16 of this year's Champions League. Strunz, clattered by Albert's free kick. One thing that we were all predicting at half-time here in the television area was that somebody would get sent off in this half. It was just bubbling up so much in those closing minutes of the first half. It seemed to have settled down again. This is Lizarazu, and he's made good inroads here. And he's crossed the ball in, which is an easy catch for Klose. Rolled out for Amoruso. Johansson. That's a foul. Difficult man to mark, Jonathan Johansson. And Linker didn't mark him well enough there, because he's conceded this free kick. Wallace. Porrini back across to the midfield into Ferguson. Highly gifted young Scottish player, Barry Ferguson. Newman struggling to make something from this. And in the end, they do. And then Alberts is back again there to nibbling away and winning the ball well. It breaks, however, this time for Salihamidzic. He can do no better than direct it straight to Amoruso. And he can do no better than give it away. So Paulo Sergio, his first touch of the ball, the Brazilian signed from Roma in the summer, to Struntz. There's never much hope of him getting past Craig Moore, and so it's Alberts now for Glasgow Rangers, charged in the back. Free kick goes against Bayern Munich. And, Torsten Fink. Rangers are very much alive in this contest. They eliminated Parma in the qualifying stages, which was a fantastic achievement for them. The UEFA Cup holders Parma, of course, from Italy. But Rangers over the years have struggled to make much of an impact in Europe. But they're making some tonight. They have had their chances to have had the game sewn up already. And this is going to be the response on the touchline. The introduction of Neil McCann, who's a left-sided midfield player. So Dick Advocaat, a very shrewd coach, will have some strategy in mind. Wallace couldn't keep it, but the referee has come to his aid and said that's a foul by Linker. And more cheers for the Scottish supporters in the crowd here in Munich. Van Bronckhorst will line this one up. Kahn concentrates hard. There are 5 Rangers players in the penalty area. Is there a breakthrough here for Glasgow Rangers? Van Bronckhorst tries to curl it away. The keeper punches, only to Claudio Reyna. And eventually they do drag themselves out to Bayern Munich, but they are looking uncomfortable with this 1-0 lead. Ferguson commits another sin, gives away another free kick. And astonishingly, Sparta Prague are now leading Spartak Moscow by 5-2. It was 3-2 when I last gave you that scoreline only a few minutes ago. It is now 5-2. Elsewhere, Real Madrid 1 up on Molde, Olympiacos 1 ahead of Porto, Valencia 0, Eindhoven 0, Willem 2 0, Bordeaux 0. Chelsea 2, Hertha Berlin 0, and Galatasaray 1, AC Milan 2. So a plethora of goals with Lokvents and Labant having scored for the Czechs. Struntz directed in here. Elberry tried to allow the ball to run through. He knew Salihamidzic was coming in behind him. It didn't work out. Ferguson now. As McCann prepares to come on, but this is overhit. Plenty of time again for Kahn. Paulo Sergio contesting this ball with Arthur Newman and doing well enough. News of a goal coming in from Spain, from Valencia. As the home side who have gone ahead of PSV, Claudio Lopez. 1-0 Valencia there. And Lokvents has got a second goal for Sparta Prague, and Labant has scored 2 in that 5-2 scoreline against Spartak Moscow. Rangers have made their switch. So Arthur Newman off, and McCann on. Straight swap of a left side, one left-sided player for another. Struntz must control this, goes for goal, and it's lashed over the top. Well, there would have been an irony if the man who hasn't scored all season were to get both goals. He's got the one already on the sheet. Let's see if the introduction of Neil McCann, once of Heart of Midlothian, whose only goal this season came against PSV Eindhoven, can have an effect. Alberts might have an effect here. It's wide. Now it is McCann. And the first time ball in is met by Mateus. Further away by Fink. And Alberts, you can sense the disquiet in the Munich crowd. They're not at all happy about the way this is going. No guarantee at all of progression from the Germans. They're hanging on a bit to that one-goal lead. But that would be enough for them. They don't have to be over-ambitious. What they have to do is to defend that goal. The Portuguese referee has done pretty well. He had that dodgy 5 minutes just before half-time when all hell was breaking loose. But since then he's had decent control over the match. Senor Vito Manuel Melo Pereira. Splendid name. The Rangers still looking for a breakthrough. Johansson into the area. Out comes Kahn, who's had a splendid return to first-team action. And the German national goalkeeper Van Bronckhorst can do no more than put it out as Bayern prepare to bring on Michael Tarnath, who will be the third of their substitutes this evening. Here he comes as Franz Beckenbauer has a shake of the head. He doesn't appear totally convinced, does he? And it's Effenberg off. Well, to be fair there, Effenberg did get a knock early in the half, if you remember, which required treatment. And so maybe it's not too surprising that he gives way to Michael Tarnath, whose last-minute goal at Ibrox gave Bayern a 1-1 draw. A couple of months ago, that now. And Effenberg, interestingly, has gone straight down the tunnel. He is not stopping to see what happens in the remaining minutes of this match. He has gone down the tunnel to the dressing room. And funnily enough, he's just being joined in there by Roque Santa Cruz, who had been watching the play. Amaruza, one who was cautioned early. And Ferguson. Rangers just need a goal. That would be good enough for them. Here goes Johansson into the area, cuts it across, Babel in the way. 1-0, 15 minutes to go. If it stays this way, Bayern Munich go through. If Rangers get an equaliser and keep it at 1-1, they go through. The throw is from Porrini, the former Juventus man who's played in a Champions Cup final for the Italians. He was a loser against Borussia Dortmund. And the fans responding to a call on the electronic scoreboard to applaud their team, and they are applauding them. They're a goal up. High from Oliver Kahn. Back from Van Bronckhorst. And you do get the feeling that Bayern are content with this one goal, and they'll settle for 1-0. The danger of sitting back is that if Rangers do happen to score very late on, there may be no time for Bayern to come and try and win it again. The second half hasn't been as open as the first, when there were a lot of chances created. Rangers are looking to create one now. And have a corner. Linker got across there to concede it, but Johansson's made one or two good runs and another shake of the head. I think that Beckenbauer is furious about the philosophy of the team. Just look at that. They're conceding far too much. Amaruzo goes in there. He'll drop this time for McCann. They really are sitting back Bayern, and that could be fatal. Now Johansson gets into the area, cuts it back, it's straight to Oliver Kahn. It's a dangerous ploy indeed by the Germans, and they've given the ball away again. Encouraging moments these for Glasgow Rangers. As down goes Rayner, and what's the referee going to do? He's going to give a free kick against Rangers for the foul on Fink. Well, the 6th game in the group of 6 in this Group F in the Champions League. One of the most, well, it's the most open group of all, probably, yeah, along with the Chelsea, AC Milan, Galatasaray and Hertha Berlin. There might be something here. Paulo Sergio into the area. Elber takes it round the goalkeeper, puts it wide. He's had 3 very, very takeable chances tonight. He wants a corner, but I don't think he's going to get one. It's going to be a goal kick. Elber can't believe it, but really there. Paulo Sergio played him in, and that might have been curtains for Glasgow Rangers. As it is still 1-0. It's a tenuous lead. But they are holding on to it. And at the moment they will figure in Friday's draw, and Glasgow Rangers will not. Wallace trying to get something here. Steered back to Khan. And now there's a break here. It's 2-on-1. It's Elber, who's already spurned a couple of chances. It's still Elber, and it's high. And the Brazilian's finishing tonight has been more than disappointing. He had a header in the early minutes which he put over. He had a shot which, well, he just side-footed it with the right boot in the first half wide, and he's had 2 openings in 2 minutes here, and it's 4 out of 4 misses for Giovanni Elber. Well, how quickly things change in football. He could do no wrong at the weekend when he scored a hat-trick against Wolfsburg. He can do nothing right tonight. The Wallace is flattened free kick against Linker. And Rangers are going to make their last substitution by bringing on the Argentinian Gabriel Amato for Rodney Wallace, who was a surprise starter, but who has got through almost 80 minutes of the match. And for the closing stages, he gives way to the man who used to play for River Plate and Huracan, Gabriel Amato. So everybody watching back there in Argentina will be hoping their man can get a goal here. McCann. Van Bronckhorst. Dangerous ball in, plenty of blue shirts around. It breaks to 1 in red though. Elber. Lifted back to the Rangers keeper Close. Now it's with Moore. Moore able to look up as Bayern hang off. Amato as well. McCann. Rangers with 4 up around the edge of the area. McCann couldn't find a way past Struntz, however. Paulo Sergio, easily picked out by Amoruso. Albert short. Johansson into position, will hit the shot. Brilliant save again, Oliver Kahn. And Johansson is disappointed, but again you have to admire the agility of this 28-year-old German goalkeeper, who has done everything right tonight. That's another fine save, acrobatically. And when you look back at particularly the first half save he made to keep out an effort from Rod Wallace, Stefan Klose has made 3 very high-quality saves this evening. Foul by McCann. Clever play from Matthias. He induced it from the young opponent. Good effort this from Jonathan Johansson. And the acrobatics of Oliver Kahn keeping Rangers at bay. Well, it's a strange game in so many ways. It is 1-0, but when you think of all the chances missed by Giovanni Elber in particular, and one also by Roque Santa Cruz, Bayern could have won it by 4 or 5 goals. And then you look at Rangers, who've hit the woodwork twice and had a couple of other opportunities, and they could have won it by 3 or 4. Now it's Albert, a good ball in for Van Bronckhorst. Chance here for Rangers, must be surely. Oh, he couldn't turn on it. It's back in again, and Mato going for it, and they are all over the shop here, Bayern Munich. Well, Mato thinks it's a corner kick or a push or anything but what the referee has given, and he's given a free kick for Bayern. A good laugh between Amato and Mateus. Well, Rangers certainly have had their moments here, and Amato for one had a chance there when the ball was cut back in towards him. And Bayern Munich have played such a dangerous game. I suppose they're now trying to hit on the break, and they've had a couple of openings. Both fell to Elba, and he didn't take either of them. But they have not looked secure at the back at all as Rangers come again. Van Bronckhorst for Johansson, who has turned his marker, but he stuck with it, did Babbel. Van Bronckhorst again. Now McCann. Caught on the ankle by Strunz. Yellow card for the German. 8 minutes left for Rangers to save their skins. Strunz gets his first Champions League caution of the season. Well, is there drama in the final chapter of this match? Alberts will smack it across here. Firmly headed away and thrashed back in by Claudio Reyna. He's got 5 goals this season, all in the early weeks. And now there is a terrific break on. Paulo Sergio must get on into the area. Can Paulo Sergio finish it? No. And not once, not twice can he finish it. How many more chances are they going to waste? This is not a vintage Bayern Munich display, that is for sure. And Paulo Sergio, the 30-year-old Brazilian, signed in the summer from Roma, who scored both goals in the win over PSV, should really have wrapped it all up there, just as Elba should have wrapped it up earlier. And I wonder if they'll rue all that. Now it's Lizarazu. Can he do something here? Men getting forward desperately. Oh, and a missed kick. Well, it's quite extraordinary, is this? And you do wonder if they're letting Rangers off the hook. Foul given against Linker. And he's given away a lot of free kicks in this half, as Rangers know they've 6 minutes left to put Otmar Hitzfeld's team out. And if this man Alberts gets into position to hit one at the other end, you'd fancy his chances. It's McCann now for Rangers. If they score, that will really put the cat among the pigeons. But Johansson's put it wide, gets a helping hand up. Well, it's a long time since I saw a 1-0 match which possessed so many opportunities. No more goals elsewhere, by the way. A smile on the face of Franz Beckenbauer. The scoreline could have been absolutely anything, but with 85 minutes played, it is merely 1-0. And it's a dramatic finale to the campaign. There might be something even yet. McCann for Rangers, who pull it back in there, and they're again not convincing in clearing, although it has found a way through to Albert. Now to Paulo Sergio, perhaps second favourite here. Back with Stefan Klose. Well, goal scoring is an art, but really there hasn't been a player out there tonight who has managed to impress in that particular art. The one goal we've had came from a penalty kick, and yet there must have been a dozen scoring chances in the game. This is Van Bronckhorst, whose penalty sin let Rangers down. They went a goal behind when he brought his man down, and now he goes down, edge of the area, no foul. Again, they'll look to hit them in a one-on-one as the ball is played forward by Mateus. Out wide with Paulo Sergio. He's down under Ferguson and that's a foul. Oh, and more. I think he's calling Sergio a cheat. And a yellow card is thrust into the face of Alberts. It was Moore's foul. Alberts must have said something. And again, the Portuguese officials, just as it was at the end of the first half. Well, yeah, I think actually Paulo Sergio went down there, and Ferguson had every right to feel aggrieved. But Albert said something to the referee, which I think has got him a caution. Well, this is a precious time, very much to the advantage of Bayern Munich. Oh, and when Strunks plays the ball straight out, he really does get the bird for that. If, as indeed I think he was cautioned, Alberts, who plays it forward there, that's his second booking of the Champions League season. He'd be within one of a disqualification. Johansson has been a problem since he's come on, and his pace wins a corner for Rangers. 3 minutes to go, 87 played. Hitzfeld still not sure whether he's going to be taking a side into the last 16 or not. I think it's pretty certain that Hertha Berlin are going out, 2 down at Chelsea in England. So Bayern Munich represent Germany's last hope. It's an in-swinger. The keeper didn't get there, but Elbow will hack it away right up to the halfway line. Skillfully taken down. And played up by Ferguson. Johansson, offside. Well, throughout the campaign, Rangers have scored 7 goals and conceded 7. Bayern Munich have scored 7 and conceded 6. So just that 1 goal is the difference between those two sides in 6 games. And Bayern Munich, last season's beaten finalists, are at the moment heading for a last 16 place, and Glasgow Rangers are heading for the UEFA Cup. Unless they can score now. With just a minute to go of normal time. Amato battling on the far side to get a cross in. He succeeds in that quest, but it's collected by the man of the match, Oliver Kahn. And that says something, that the man of the match is the home team's goalkeeper. But he really has made 3 or 4 excellent saves. And flags are waving around here, but of course Bayern Munich would do well to remember that they lost the European Cup final with 2 goals in added time to Manchester United, so it is not over. Here come Rangers now, and if they score, they'd go through. There's a player down as well in there. There is Johansson, lost out to Strunks. And I'm not quite sure what is going on with the Bayern Munich player who is down and just picking himself up now. I think it's Salihamidzic. He just looks, well, he's picked himself up, but he's all over the place. It is Salihamidzic asking for treatment and not getting much sympathy from the referee. Now he will be treated. What happened to the Bosnian? But he's on. And now there's some argy-bargy involving Ferguson and Lothar Matthäus. Well, it's extraordinary this. It's a similar scenario to the first half, where the last few minutes ended in mayhem. And so it is in this second half as well, with players getting involved who really ought to know better and really shouldn't be anywhere near the scene of it. And look at this. They're still going at it, and Matthäus is to be shown a yellow card, you have to say, totally unnecessary for him to get that. What on earth is a man of his experience doing, getting involved like that at this stage of the match? There's a laugh between Moore and Van Bronckhorst. Perhaps they know more than anybody else. But Matthäus really lost his cool there. And he's booked. Play will eventually restart with the Glasgow Rangers throwing. They are still looking for this one elusive goal. And it's belted upfield by Strunks. Well, he still has to, he can't bear to watch. Oh, it's been an unedifying spectacle at times. Whereas at times not been enough quality on view. I honestly can't imagine either of these sides going very, very far. This is not a Bayern Munich side in the mould of the great teams of the past. And I don't think Glasgow Rangers have enough firepower either, judging by the chances they've missed this evening. But they've given us a grandstand finish in terms of drama. If not in terms of goals, there's a bit more argy-bargy here. There's nothing there, really. Just the reaction sometimes of the benches that is hotting things up unnecessarily. And now both Advocaat and Hitzfeld are on the running track in this Olympic Stadium. Well, the referee will want this free kick taken a second time. Who'd be a referee? Who'd be a coach? Well, he's looking like the winner at the moment. And surely they're not going to commit too many men forward for this. Well, really is appalling tactics by Bayern Munich, just rolling the ball out from those free kicks. It just gives Rangers the opportunity to come again. We've had the full 90 minutes. Headed up past the halfway line by Lothar Matthäus. Well, it's not been a classic, but Bayern Munich are about to get the result that they want, and that is all that would matter. Have Rangers finally run out of time? The referee says play on, and again the same tactic of putting the ball high into the night and as far away from danger as possible. Well, matches are all about results. Amato up for this one. Oh, it just didn't fall inside the area. Rangers are still coming. There was a foul by a Rangers player in the D, and a free kick, and some much wanted respite for Bayern Munich, who seem destined now to go through. Yet another check at that watch. But the name of Bayern Munich looks like figuring in Friday's draw, along with those of Lazio, Kiev, Barcelona, Fiorentina, Feyenoord, Rosenborg, Manchester United, Marseille, Porto, Real Madrid, Valencia, Bordeaux and Sparta Prague. Looks like Chelsea too. There are two Bayern players here coming for it. No more than a throw-in, and we still play on. And is it a free kick rather than a throw-in? It is, and it's already taken. And the ball is now with Tarnack, and he'll whip one across there, right out of play. Goal kick, and that will do for Bayern. And I can now reveal that Chelsea have done enough. 2-0 against Hertha Berlin. Galatasaray have actually beaten AC Milan 3-2. So it may well be that as the referee points and gives a free kick, could just be that Milan are going out and that Chelsea and Hertha Berlin are through. And the referee will raise his arms, and he will send Bayern Munich into the last 16. Germany does have a representative, Scotland does not, and disconsolately the Rangers players walk off. As the man of the match there, Oliver Kahn, takes a line down. Franz Beckenbauer signs the odd autograph. Ottmar Hitzfeld smiles and contemplates another half a dozen matches for Bayern Munich. Thomas Struntz, number 8, got the only goal, a penalty kick after a foul by Giovanni van Bronckhorst on Mehmet Scholl. So disappointment for Dick Advocaat. Glasgow Rangers will now play in the UEFA Cup, and Kahn very much the hero of the hour. Those other results: Molde 0, Real Madrid 1, Olympiacos 1, Porto 0, Valencia 1, PSV Eindhoven 0, Sparta Prague 5, Spartak Moscow 2, Willem 2-0, Bordeaux 0, Chelsea 2, Hertha Berlin 0, and Galatasaray 3, Milan 2, AC Milan 2. But here, as we look at the statistics of the evening, we saw that there were 12 shots on goal and only one went in, and that's from a penalty kick. 7 yellow cards, no red, mercifully. Not the best spectacle you've ever seen, but at the end of the night, Bayern Munich have got the result that they so badly wanted. They have beaten Glasgow Rangers by 1-0 and go through to the next phase of the European Champions League. Wherever you've been watching around the world, I hope you've enjoyed it here in the Olympiastadion Munich. This is John Helm saying good night, and we will see you for the next round of the European Champions League. Final score for the final time here: Bayern Munich 1, Glasgow Rangers 0.